think there will be a return journey, Mr. Frodo.
Frodo and Sam will die. It's a quick line in the films that we never really believed would actually happen. Frodo and Sam, they have to return. And the feeling that you get in the movies with, oh, they might die, is only exacerbated in the books, because in the books you kind of feel like they will die. Because these two hobbits, from the breaking of the Fellowship, with their meeting with Faramir, they think that they're going to die. And they think that there will not be a return journey. It is all over the chapters of this book. First, Frodo comes to this realization, and then Sam slowly starts to comprehend it and speaks about the regrets that he has in his life. But there is a part in the books that gives the readers a little glimmer of hope. And it's one of the smallest but the coolest parts of the chapter, the journey at the crossroads. And it's something that is given as a gift for Frodo and Sam that seems to have some kind of magic about them. And it really shows just how fun of a soft magic system that J.R.R. Tolkien really created. But as always, I am reading The Lord of the Rings for the first time in my life. So if you want more of my unorganized thoughts, make sure you subscribe. This channel is all about Lord of the Rings and some Harry Potter and some other really, really great books like Game of Thrones that I'm going to start doing more, and Brandon Sanderson and Dune and all those other really, really great books. But I'm going to go through the whole Tolkien Legendarium, so there will be lots of videos about my discoveries of this world, and you can vicariously live through me reading it for the first time. Because there is something about a first-time read that is kind of hard to beat. I think about this often when I read these books in particular. The idea of really not having seen the movies especially, and just reading the books. Not really knowing what's going to happen next. Not knowing what this dark terror is in Cirith Ungol that Smeagol is bringing them to. That Faramir says, if mentioned, the old lore masters will blanch and go quiet. And I keep thinking about this idea with the hopelessness of Frodo. As readers, we are plunged into both Frodo and Sam's mind. And they are both slowly realizing that there won't be a return journey, and they likely will die after all is said and done. And for Frodo, he doesn't really even believe that they're going to make it to Mount Doom. He kind of believes that they're going to die before. In a really sad section of the book, when Sam is talking about food, this is what the book says. But you have to eat some of it every day, and it doesn't grow. I reckon we've got enough to say last 3 weeks or so. And that with a tight belt and a light tooth, mind you. We've been a bit free with it so far. I don't know how long we shall take to finish, said Frodo. We were miserably delayed in the hills, but Samwise Gamgee, my dear hobbit, indeed, Sam, my dearest hobbit, friend of friends, I do not think we need to give thought to what comes after that. To do the job, as you put it, what hope is there that we ever shall? And if we do, who knows what will come of that? If the one goes into the fire and we are at hand, I ask you, Sam, are we ever likely to need bread again? I think not. If we can nurse our limbs to bring us to Mount Doom, that is all we can do. More than I begin to feel. Sam nodded silently. He took his master's hand and bent over it. He did not kiss it, though. His tears fell on it. Then he turned his head away, drew his sleeve over his nose, and got up and stamped about, trying to whistle and saying between the efforts, "Where's that dreaded creature?" So Sam doesn't really fully comprehend this or come to an understanding about this quite yet until a few pages later when they come to the Black Gate and you see him processing his death, that he won't get to the Shire again, that he won't see his father's face again. He says, "Well, here we are," said Sam. "Here's the gate, and it looks to me as if that's about as far as we're ever going to get. My word, but the gaffer would have a thing or two to say if he saw me now. Often said I'd come to a bad end if I didn't watch my step, he did. But now, I don't suppose I'll ever see the old fellow again. He'll miss his chance of 'I told you so,' Sam. More's the pity. He could go on telling me as long as he got breath. If only I could see his old face again. But I'd have to get a wash first, or he wouldn't know me." Sam here is coming to also understand that he likely will not see his dad again. And so as a reader, you just slowly start to feel that they might actually not make it out of this alive. But there's a magical moment as they are parting ways with Faramir, and it gives the reader a bit of new hope, and it really speaks of how cool the magical system is that J.R.R. Tolkien has created. It's a section where Faramir gives them gifts, much like Galadriel, as they part. This is what the book says. The hobbits' packs were brought to them, a little heavier than they had been, and also 2 stout staves of polished wood, shod with iron, and with carven heads, through which ran plated leather thongs. I have no fitting gifts to give you at our parting, said Faramir, but take these staves. They may be of service to those who walk or climb in the wild. The men of the White Mountain use them, though these have been cut down to your height and newly shod. They are made of the fair tree Lebethron, beloved of the Woodwrights of Gondor, and a virtue has been set upon them, of finding and returning. May that virtue not wholly fail under the shadow into which you go. So there is a virtue that has been set on them. This line alone shows why I love the magical system of Tolkien so much. Because if you want, you can dissect this line and show how this is one of the reasons why Frodo and Sam actually made it back to the land of the living. But it's not detailed in how the virtue was set into these walking sticks. So you can probably go into lots of headcanon about how it actually was done. But it's the same reason why the debate about Faramir actually seeing the boat of Boromir's dead body, or if it was a vision, is such an interesting debate. Because Tolkien seems to sprinkle this magical system in the books without really giving definitive answers. And for this reason, I find the Tolkien community so lovely, because you can debate this stuff for days. And you can have really, really good reasons for your arguments. And the person making the counter arguments can have really, really good reasons for their arguments as well. And so Tolkien, I feel like, leaves it up to us to figure out some of this stuff, which is a mark of a good writer. So the question with these staves is that, did the virtue that was actually embedded with them actually help them get back to the land of the living outside of Mordor? And did it actually save Sam and Frodo? Now, I'm not a hugely sensationalized person and not really into like spiritual answers for these things, but the magical system just seems interesting to me in that it could potentially be an answer. I think it could for sure play a part in why Sam and Frodo made their way back. Well, now that I say that, I actually don't really know in the books if they make it back or not. So this whole essay could just be moot if they die in the fires of Mount Doom. And the movie just wanted to make a happier ending, so they had them get out by the eagles. That would be wild if the books completely changed, or that the movies completely changed the ending of the book. But let's assume that they make it out alive. This magical system that Tolkien created just gives you wiggle room for you to look back on this section and say, it must have been these staves. Or at the very least, these walking staves might have played a role in them getting back. Sometimes I'm a skeptic, so I find myself saying more often than not that these walking sticks really didn't have any play in how they got back or any role in how they got back, because they just had loyal friends, and those loyal friends came and picked them up. But at the same time, I find myself more willing to believe in the magical system in these books because it's just fun to do it. And the whole Tolkien community seems brimming with questions of, is it magic or is it not? Was the boat a dream or was it real? Do Balrogs have wings or not? I don't know any of these answers, but it's just so fun to talk with other people who found new things in this text that you may have missed on your first time read, and that you get to revisit, and that helps you see the text in a totally new way. And it makes me really happy to read this. I love this soft magic system that Tolkien has created because it just makes the fan experience so much more fun. But that's all I got for today. Just a quick gush on Tolkien, yet again, like half of my videos are. So if you like this video, you should click the like button, subscribe for more of this kind of content, and as always, we look toward Numenor that was, and beyond to Elvenhome that is, and to that which is beyond Elvenhome and will ever be. I'll see you in the next one.